Welcome to our latest episode of Beauty Business Matters. I'm Susan Routledge, your host, and today I have a very special guest. I have Zoe Threadgold with me. Zoe, I've known for many years. She joined Beauty Directors Club way back, I think, when we first established Beauty Directors Club many years ago, and from then she has really taken herself and her business to a whole new level. So she's gone through having a salon to being a solo operator, skin specialist, and now to be the distributor of a fabulous new piece of equipment that's come over from America. So welcome, Zoe, and I'm so pleased that you're here. And, because I just think that obviously your journey, and we are going to go more into your journey, but it just shows, I think, how many different angles you can go down with our industry. I always like to say, there's not many industries where you can be anywhere in the world working. You can take just one element of what you do and turn it into a whole business or career. And obviously now you've also gone down a route of becoming a supplier as well and a distributor. So I think it's just such an inspiring story. So let's go back to the very beginning, Zoe, to when you
a long time ago.
Did you always want to be in our industry, want to be in the beauty industry?
Yes, I went to college from school to train, and there weren't many colleges around then. It was difficult to find a college, wasn't it, those years ago? And so I went straight from school into college. But then again, it was also a 2-year full-time course as well. Now you can do it in sort of different sections.
So you were lucky, because before that I had to do 4 years because we had to do hair as well. So two totally different industries, but I think they thought, well, at least you can be a hairdresser if you can't get a job in beauty. So you were lucky that you could just train in beauty. So you did your 2 years in beauty.
So I did my 2 years in beauty at the Ray Cochrane School in Baker Street.
Fabulous.
Which was great. I really enjoyed the course. It was great. And then my first job was in a local salon. So worked there for 5 years, and then the owners were looking to retire. So at that point they were talking about selling the business, and I sort of thought to myself, I was 22 by now, and thought, I can do that.
As you do, I can do that.
It's so funny when you're young, you just think, and it's great to have that at that age, isn't it? So I did that. With the help of family, we sort of got sorted. And
so with that salon, obviously, how big was the team that you were taking over?
That was something to negotiate as well, because obviously I was taking over and I was working with the people, and then all of a sudden going to be their boss. So we had one girl did stay with me, and then I started to recruit my own team then. And having said that, I always recruited from college. So at that point, always recruited from the start. I found, you had people, they were fresh, but they hadn't got into
bad habits.
And, you could work your way. And it did take time, an investment into somebody. But to me, they gave me my best loyal staff, because...
there's two takes on it, isn't there? Because you've got the take of you're bringing someone raw out of college who really hasn't got any experience. So in some ways it's like a harder task to train them. But you also can quite easily get them straight into your ways of working. Whereas taking someone who has worked somewhere else, quite often they've picked up different ways of working, and it's not wrong. So it's quite hard to then change somebody into your ways, kind of thing. So.
And I just found that really worked for me. But at that point, we were lucky because colleges, people went to the colleges. Lots of people were studying beauty therapy in that way. I realise now, talking to salon owners, that it's not so easy, because it's not so easy to have staff. And I think the apprenticeship things become more tricky, hasn't it?
It's recently.
And now a distributor, I've realised that I'm meeting salon owners in a different way to how I was working before, talking to lots of different people. Yeah. It's a very, staff is the one thing that keeps coming up. And it's a shame because it's an amazing career.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I know, we're going back, 40 years in September I've been in the industry. Very awesome. Similar to yourself, you know.
Yeah. You don't know where the time goes. They say time flies when you're having fun, and it certainly does.
I think, and I enjoy it as much now as I ever did, if not more.
But again, though, I think that's because, you can go down so many different routes kind of thing.
Yeah, and I haven't always done the same thing. So after I had the salon for 10 years, by which time I'd started my family, that I found challenging, having a young family and a business. I didn't think I was doing either that well.
Were you still working full-time in the salon as well?
I was working, when we had our son, we lived above the salon. So I had a nanny 2 days a week, and then Rob, my husband, had looked after Harrison on a Saturday, which was great for their relationship because from a tiny baby, he had his dad there. But yes, I was doing both. So I was working in the business and then trying to have a family. It was only when my daughter came along and there were 2 children that became more challenging for Rob on a Saturday. He's like, oh my God. So then I decided to open a home salon. So I converted the garage at home and then had my salon at home.
So the original salon, did you sell that or did you just close it?
No, because what happened, I tried different ways to work the business once I realised that it was hard for me to be managing a team. Yeah. So I then, and I suppose it was something new at the time, everybody went self-employed within the business and had their own businesses. I think lots of salons are doing that now, but I don't think so many did that years ago. So we did that for a bit. So really the business side of it went apart from my part. So then I took my part home. And again, it was important that it was professional. So, I kept it in, it was the converted garage in the end, but a separate entrance so that it felt still my business, but I could work school hours. So that's what I did.
And was that, my skin therapy, was that?
No, I don't even think I even had a name at that point. It was just me.
Went under your name.
I think, with the advent of social media and things, everyone suddenly became more branded. I don't know. But at that time, I hadn't even thought of a name. It was only when I moved out of there. So I worked from home for nearly 20 years.
Wow.
And then we decided actually to move location. So we decided to move an hour away from where we'd lived. But all my client base was around the Barnet area. So to me, it made sense to find somewhere local to work. Yes. Which is where my skin therapy, I sort of set up that and rented space in a clinic. And that's where I still work, 2 days a week now.
But then you also have now the distribution for Neurotris. I can never say that word.
Yes, so how did that come about?
Yeah. So the thing is, I can remember you ringing us and telling us, and I was like, wow, that's such an amazing thing to do. So during lockdown, you started using the handheld device.
Yes, so I discovered the Neurotris device and thought, well, I'll try this. We're at home. I had clients asking, what can I do at home? We've drop ship product to them, but obviously they were missing their machinery and more advanced treatments.
Yeah, because at that time it was like you could do like an online consultation, teach someone how to do their home skincare. But that was about it, wasn't it?
I mean, therapists were very resourceful. And I think in lockdown, literally after sort of the tears and whatever 5 minutes, everyone got on with sort of doing something, didn't they?
There was 2 camps, wasn't there? There was the camp where there was a lot of people that gave them the excuse to start and come out of the industry. There was then the ones who were just like had a good moan and groan about it. And then there was like the ones like us who were just like, right, we're just going to make this the best and really went for it. And I think that's when as well, like Beauty Directors Club.
Well, didn't that happen to you? Didn't you start doing a lot more online and things?
I started doing a lot of interviews and different things. But I think it was just a time where like you became more resourceful.
Yeah.
It was a time where you just had to think outside the box and think, right, what can I do? What can I need? Or what do I need to help? And obviously, as I say, that then it was like the online consultations for clients and people posting out products so clients could do their own facials. But obviously, everyone was missing the electrical side. So for you to come up with something then was perfect for your clients.
Well, it was, yeah. So I sort of started playing around with it myself because we had the time to do it, and realised that it was a really powerful little device. And it looks tiny. It really does look, because we still sell them for a home use now. And when people look at it and they get it out of the box, they're like, oh, but it's only this big. And I said, yeah, but it's, what it's doing. Don't let the size fool you. So that little device came about in lockdown. And when we went back into the salon, I was taking it back into clinic and using it just a little bit within treatments because I had been so impressed. And then I started to think, well, hang on, if the home device is this good, what is the professional device like? So there were a few systems in the UK, but really not many. Took myself off to the States. I said to Rob, my husband, I said, right, I'd really like to look at this machine. I think it's good. So took myself off to the States, really just to look for myself. I didn't think any further than that. Really was impressed. Obviously tried the machine, came home and ordered one. And while I'd been in the States, Tony had said to me, oh, we've got no one in the UK. Are you interested in, sort of distributing anything there? And I was like, no. Why? That's not something that I would have even ever
on the radar.
No, it was definitely not on the radar. So came back. And within 2 or 3 months of using it, I was getting results and clients absolutely loving it.
Wow. So you actually went over, did you go straight to the top, or did you go and just trial a treatment in a salon, or did you go straight to the MD of the company?
Yes. I did. But we had Zoomed because originally, my original thought was the home device to sell more of those in the UK. So that was where I'd sort of thought about it from a business point of view, I suppose, before I went, was, I'd quite like to take that further and have a professional machine just for myself, but maybe just branch out more with a home product. So that was sort of more my thinking, and really just having the machine for my clinic. But the results were just they were amazing, and it almost sounds too good to be true. And you get something in and you're thinking, wow, this is really good. But for people to be messaging and texting, and they were having compliments, husbands were noticing differences, and if they noticed, it sort of was something. So within sort of 2 or 3 months, I then contacted Tony and I said, you mentioned about the distributorship, can we talk? So we did. And it took a while. It took a few months to sort of, for the conversations to go backwards and forwards. And again, he didn't know me. So that sort of whole relationship building.
Totally.
But my husband, obviously, Rob's in marketing and design and things. So he could help with that side of things as well. So I had that sort of skill set that we could use. But there were things constantly coming up thinking, I hadn't thought of that. And, then you've got to register your company. And
so the technologies behind it, it's a microcurrent with a twist, isn't it?
It is. I mean, so you say microcurrent and people do a bit of eye roll some of the time thinking, really old technology. But the difference with this machine, it's got the ability to read your skin's impedance to the current, which means that it's working with the skin it's working on and sending the readings back to the machine to deliver what the skin needs. So very different to technology that is around in other microcurrent devices. So they call it dynamic intelligence, which means it's constantly changing. I know originally when I said dynamic, things like, just like the word dynamic is like, wow, but it actually means it's constantly reading the skin's resistance to it, which is really clever.
Because when you think about it, your skin's changing all of the time.
And no two skins are the same.
Yeah, and the thing is that, with most systems, when you're doing a program of treatments on a client, you are pretty much like following a protocol of like, right, it needs to go up because this is the third treatment, this is the fourth treatment. Whereas, again, everyone's skin's changing all the time. So for it to dynamically read what's going on in the skin, that is very impressive.
So that's the patented part of the technology as well. So that is what Tony patented within the system, that it's got that skin impedance meter. Because studies were done years ago that microcurrent was effective at certain levels to predict changes in the skin. But it wasn't taken into consideration the resistance it takes to get there, because our skin's a naturally doesn't want to accept current. Our stratum corneum's really clever at repelling things, so you have to sort of tease that in more gently. And you adjust the treatment literally per percentage for every client's comfort level. So whatever setting you're working on, depending where you're wanting to deliver the current, you are adjusting the comfort to that client. So it's really bespoke, which is great for a therapist to use.
But I think as well where we're at now with microcurrent, because I can remember, you'd be able to remember when microcurrent first came out, the market just got flooded. There was just so many systems out there, but then you could see them one by one fall by the wayside because I think it was just like, and it was generalized so much, and it just was everywhere. It was like the miracle. And then now I think there's only the very good systems out there now, isn't there, really?
I think the thing is, it microcurrent works, but it can only work if it's getting to where it needs to get to.
Yeah, exactly.
And my philosophy of skin has always been more about trying to work with your skin as naturally and holistically as possible. It doesn't mean you can't use technology, but it's an energy-based treatment, microcurrent, as is LED and sono, whereas there's a lot more trauma and heat thermal-based treatments now, which, great.
There's a place for them,
There's a place for them. But to me, if you can get results through energy treatment, no downtime, just working with your skin, why wouldn't you? And we have more compromised skins today. I think there's more compromised skins, whether that's from internal, external factors. Skins are not the same as they were years ago.
When you think about it, there's so many different factors. There's like aircon and all sorts now. And
process. I think, the processes of the things we eat, I think it must have an effect. So, and weather changes.
So what skin conditions can you treat?
Everything.
Right. So when you say everything, give me a rundown of and what kind of results you're likely to get.
I would say most people go to microcurrent because it's got the ability to re-educate and lift the muscles. So the biggest sort of client group is really your sort of
anti-aging,
more mature skins for that muscle lifting and toning. If you were to start much younger with that, it would be, the results would be even better, and it'd be really interesting to see as we go forward with younger clients what it would be like. Because it's like exercise, if you do it younger and you continue through life, you maintain and stop things from
from an earlier age,
saggy in the first place.
So what kind of age would you recommend someone to be starting
treatment? Any age. I don't think we're going to get so many 20-year-olds worrying about their skin sagging, because when you're young, you don't ever think you're going to have
Although when you think about on the aesthetic side, now the younger age groups are starting so much younger. Whether they need it or not, it's another matter. But again, I think that is social media. I think it is,
because they're not actually addressing age. They're not worrying about aging and wrinkles. They're actually trying to create a look.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different type of treatment altogether, isn't it? Because everyone does end up looking quite similar, don't they?
Yeah, but I think it's not just facial work. It's like when you think about it, the different it's crazy when you think about that. Like we have body trends, isn't it? So you have body trends where at one point, it's very slim, very like unshapely. That was in the 60s. Then you go to like really curvy.
Yeah.
Then now it's like slim waist, like and sort of
bigger bottom.
bigger bottom. Yeah. But when you think about it, a body's a body kind of thing. And like to be able to like turn it into a fashion accessory is...
Because if you're not naturally the fashionable shape of the time, it's you're just like running through treacle. It's so hard. If you happen to have the right shape for that time, you're all right.
Which is only just a small percentage, isn't it? But,
exactly. But I think, like you say, that's the whole socially driven aspect of it.
So with going back to the system, can you use that anywhere on the body, or is it mainly facial?
It is mainly face. I mean, the décolleté, again, is a lovely area with the device, and especially when you're using the silver sculpting gloves, because you've got microcurrent through the hands, as you would. So it's like two probes, if you like. So your hands are turning into your probes, so you can work large areas at one time, which is lovely. They do have body systems as well, which we're sort of just looking into now and developing, because again, I think the body element is becoming, people are going to go to the gym, everyone is becoming conscious of sort of sagging skin and everything, and often it's as we get older, it's the skin that loosens.
It loses its tone.
It's not just like the muscle, but it's the surface, isn't it? It's that connect. So that element of the body machine, I think I'm looking to develop, because I think that's quite an important part to sort of.
So with the system as well, device, can you multi-level it with other pieces of equipment as well?
Most definitely. Again, you're looking at your client. What are their needs? What are their concerns? And personally, I think it works really well with microneedling, LED as well. But again, I think, you're using your modality for what you're seeing. Obviously, yes, with the Neurotris microcurrent, it will fit into any skin type and regime, and it's just depending what concerns you've got. But sometimes, yes, you do need to use something a little more if somebody's got a particular concern that you want to add something else to. It just elevates it to another level. But everyone needs good skin health, and everyone would like their muscles as
peak condition,
lifted as they could be.
And is this on a course, like a program, or how many treatments does someone need normally?
Anything, it depending at what age you are and what stage your skin is. What if you've haven't done anything for 50 years and all of a sudden you're thinking, right, I want to start doing something. It's not going to happen overnight. It's a work in progress, and you're building on it, because we're a living organ, aren't we? I think sometimes people forget that about the skin, that actually it's just a living organ that you need to constantly be looking after to keep it at its best. So with treatments, people do like to sell things as packages, don't they? So we often say if you have sort of 10 treatments within a sort of 2-3 month period, you're sort of boosting it.
Maximising.
Yeah. But if I have people who do have it every week, because they're maintaining the results. So you don't have to, but obviously budget has to come into it as well, doesn't it?
So normal maintenance after an intensive, of course. Would you say?
Fair, monthly is a good time. Yeah, and when you look at your skin's sort of turnover and the way that works. The idea is if you build up and you get to the results that you're sort of happy with, then you're maintaining those results. Just like the gym, just like if someone's on a diet in the gym and they get themselves where they want to be, it won't fall back overnight. But if you don't maintain it within a few week period, you'll suddenly start to see the changes that that you don't want again. So it's just same. It's just that sort of.
So how long have you been using it with your clients?
A couple of years now. And as I say, what's so lovely is when I'd go to demo it for people, everyone loves the treatment, which is love. I mean, it always sounds too good to be true, but I say to people, the only way, if you're not sure, have the demonstration,
Yeah.
Because people feel the difference as well as see the difference. And often it's what they feel that actually, like with clients anyway, if they leave you feeling good, that's what makes them want to come back.
But a big advantage as well is because obviously your background is in the industry. So, you've tried a lot of different pieces of equipment in the past.
I think I probably use most of the things that are out
exactly.
there.
So I think that as well for someone, whether they're new into the industry or been in the industry quite a long time, to know someone already knows other pieces of equipment and knows how they work is a big advantage. But have you found as well that it's a great plus point when you are speaking to salon owners?
Yeah, definitely, because I am them.
Yeah.
So I know what it's like to be in a salon. Obviously, people have got different types of businesses. But again, I've had home businesses, I've had salons, so I've done both sides of it, and it has to be the right fit for your business. The professional device comes in 3 different models, so you want to pick the right model for that person's business. And also if people aren't charging their worth, which is another conversation. I think therapists are so giving, and sometimes forget that you've still got to pay your bills at the end of the day, and be fair about it. So
clients want results, and the thing is that I think what someone forgets is that clients do put themselves into a price point, so quite often charging low, then you are alienating quite a lot of clients, because I know clients who want, like,
you have to charge what something is, don't you?
If something's too little in cost, you think it can't be that good. So do you have like recommended prices that you give to people?
Again, that's difficult because people do sort of, no one ever sticks to. I mean, it's the one thing where a recommended retail price isn't uniform, is it?
Exactly.
Ever? But certainly you have to be charging your worth.
Exactly.
And it's the result someone's getting for that. So
because it's not just that piece of equipment, that device, it's as well what's in your head. It's that knowledge, it's that, like for you, 40 years of experience that is invaluable to a client. So you've got your device, but as well it's the knowledge as well that
and
you've
so
gathered.
Many therapists doing continual training all the time. I've met lots of ladies now who are continually developing and looking at new things, and that's at the trade shows. I mean, people's it's a big thing still in our industry, isn't it? People love going to the trade show. You get your list of what you're going to look at for the day, and
very different having a stand though, isn't it?
I didn't move off my 6x4.
I don't think you realise how exhausting it is as well. I think because you have that many conversations during the day, it's like, by the end of it you're just so exhausted. So it's like,
for me, I've been so used to years of having so much trust from my clients that's something new I'm building up, obviously, with the people that I'm talking to now, because all my clients know me. If I bring something new in, they know that I've tried and tested it, and I'm doing it for a reason. Obviously, when you meet people for the first time, they haven't met you before, so why would they? You need to sort of build that confidence with people. And customer service, to me, once someone's bought something, is even more important, because I've been on the other end of something, or having a question, trying to get in touch with people, and so that really matters. And I've had lovely messages back from the girls that I've also trained, and it's really lovely. It's nice to have that nice relationship with people.
What kind of messages are you getting back?
So I had one yesterday, and she just said, "Zoe, I'm blown away by the results I've just seen," and then I went into what she'd done for that particular client. Another lady, she put on, "It's a joy to use," just really nice things to hear from a product that I know is good. But you're wanting to sort of
nice for you though as well to get out and about, seeing other people's businesses and things. I'd love that.
It's really nosy, isn't that?
I mean, I get obviously to speak and work with so many salon and clinic owners, it's not that often they actually get to go into their businesses now. So, and that is always something special, isn't it?
It is.
Really,
it
really
is.
good.
And everyone's got their thing. Everyone does something their way. But ultimately what everyone's got in common is they really care about what they're delivering, and they really do. They genuinely want the best for their clients, which is why they are considered with what they bring in.
Yeah.
You know, they really want to make sure that, that's the right fit for them.
What's the training requirements for it?
Level 3 minimum.
Yeah.
And at the moment, there's an online training platform that the states are still providing, and then I go in and do a one-to-one days training in the business, because obviously we're still growing. We've only been distributing since last September.
Yeah.
I've just, as I was telling you earlier, done an initial teacher training course so that I can now write a course and have that accredited in the CPD points and things, which will also, I think,
going back to learning. It's like,
gosh.
yeah.
But it's important to have the knowledge of a device you're using, isn't it? And it's important to have good practical online. To me, again, that's another area on our industry where, it's important it's done properly, and so people are confident.
So is that where is the training going to be accredited with Habia?
Yes, if I write the course and they're happy to approve that course, then they will accredit that course, which again I think is important. And another area is colleges. I've been speaking to lots of colleges who are quite interested in learning more, and they're always wanting people to go in and talk. But that's another area that I think is really important at the background roots level, to talk about a good product that is going to work within the industry, that they can and just the knowledge of microcurrent, of today's knowledge, not just what it was.
Yeah. So are you actually taking the device into colleges and demo?
I haven't done that yet, but I'm looking at, I've had quite a few colleges looking at the devices, because lots of them sit there at college and they've got something in the corner that resembles a microcurrent machine. And they are, obviously cost is a big factor, but actually I've just had a conversation with Tony from the States about being able to do something with colleges here, which he was sort of happy to discuss with me, about being able to, reduce prices a bit for some of the colleges, so that, they could have his equipment there, which was really good.
So you're still in touch with him all the time?
Oh, then? Yeah. What's really nice is it's not a huge company. Yeah. So, and he's very much at the helm of it. He's the engineer who designed the product. So yes, that relationship is just very
I quite like as well, because obviously he sounds like it's a close to his heart kind of thing. Yeah. And now I love on the stand when you've got Rob on the stand and the family helping and things, which makes such a difference, doesn't it? Because then you've got making it sort of like a real homegrown business as well.
I know. I mean, it's probably taken a lot of Rob's and my sort of time up over, we were out for dinner talking, business and what have you. But it's really exciting as well to bring something to
how are you managing? Because I mean, obviously, I know you've still got clients as well, and I juggle a lot of plates, but you're now starting to juggle more plates as well. Yeah. So you've got sort of the your clients still, but then you've got the distribution, which is growing at an alarming rate by the sounds of it. So how are you balancing that out at the moment?
Some days better than others. But I'm still sort of, I was doing 3 days in the clinic, and now I'm doing 2. And we'll see where the balance goes. Also with the Neurotris business, maybe we'll have to bring some people on board to help with elements that, particularly the social media sides that neither of us are particularly expert in. I think you can't just do it alone, can you? I think you need to have good support around you in those areas that you can and that you're not experts in.
Yeah.
So it's
so over all of the huge amount and many amount of years that you've been in the industry, obviously there's been massive changes over the
Oh,
years,
gosh.
huge changes. What are your big takeaways that you've taken from the industry, or if someone was either starting in business or going to develop further, what kind of advice would you give? We'll have some golden nuggets from you, Zoe.
I think personally, when you first train, it's really nice to have a team around you. So working for somebody and working with other people is really good to bounce off and sound off, because you come out of college, it's like the first time you do your driving test, isn't it? You take your driving test and you go out on the road, you're like, oh, I can't drive. And it's the same thing. I think it really is. And I think with the advancement of some of the treatments that are out there today, they've gone to another level of when you and I trained at college. There was nothing we would have used that had some of the risks involved.
That was huge, isn't it?
It is.
When you're saying about start, I actually started the business straight off, because you always know what you're doing when you leave college. And I think as well, at that point there was so few jobs in like beauty industry that the fact that I had to train in hair as well was good, because the first business I started was a hair and beauty freelance business, and it was predominantly hair. The thing is, because apart from the odd wax, our industry wasn't the size it is now. And when you're like saying about like equipment, there was just like very, very basic equipment, not to the extent that there is now. So yeah, I must admit, I started straight away, whether that was the right thing or not. But then different things happened where I ended up then coming out the industry and then retraining again and doing it a totally different way a few years down the line. But the thing is, I think you did it probably the more sensible way than me.
You're obviously very entrepreneurial from an early.
I know. So what else would you say apart from getting experience behind you?
Obviously training. Everyone, you need to have good training and look at where you're training and that it is accredited and it really is what you think it is. Because I think, unfortunately, I didn't realise how the industry had changed a little bit in that way until I've started. I think it's on more than journey.
A little bit.
I think I lived in this naive bubble for a few years that everyone just did everything the right way. But obviously, and I don't think people are unintentionally doing things the wrong way either.
No, I think a lot of it's naivety. And obviously there's great salespeople selling, training and things. But, I think it is, the other thing is that it's that fast-paced thing that we're in now,
everyone
with
wants
social media.
It tomorrow, don't they?
Yeah, where I trained for 4 years, I don't think you would get that now. You trained for 2 years. Obviously, we've still got the 2-year training, but everyone wants something faster now. And I think that the idea of just going and doing a short course here and there, but obviously, hopefully, as regulations come in, that's all going to change. But it's
everyone wants to be
training.
A skin expert in 5 minutes. Actually, you have to sort of do the time. You have to sort of build to that, which you would in any career, any job. You're not an expert to start with, but it's an amazing journey. I think it's an amazing career.
But like we said, like every single person's skin's different, and it takes a long time to become an expert in that.
And even within those skin conditions, a lot of people do still niche down even further. But there's so many places you can go with it. You really can pick the areas that you're really interested in to take to that next level, can't you?
And that's what, going back to where we started, the fact that you can take just one element of a career that you've trained in and go off and do that, whether it's nails, lashes, skin, whatever, you can really, really be that expert. Still do other things, but be a real expert.
I think it's harder today to be a beauty therapist because there is so much now within that subject that didn't exist years ago. To do everything now, I don't think anybody actually probably could do every single treatment.
You've got to be careful to be not the jack of all trades kind of thing.
But years ago, that you could,
none.
Yeah.
So I always think it's good to be known for one thing, and then have the other things around it, because there is just so much, and that's what's great about our industry, you know.
And make it the thing you love. I think, I was saying to someone the other day, to go into work and do something that you absolutely love, people feel great. You know, most people are leaving you feeling lovely and all of, and I mean, how many jobs are like that? When I was doing the course and studying, sitting there revising and doing essays, I thought, God, some people just sit at a desk all day long.
Yeah. But this is the thing, you know, I've obviously done a lot with AI as well, and been to AI meetings. It fascinates me, always has. But that's the one thing that all the meetings I've ever had and dinners I've been to, they'll always say, you know, like, for our industry, we are so lucky because although, yes, there will be things where it can turn robotic, the actual, like, human touch and that connection is something that's always going to be in demand, and probably more so while there's more things turn AI. The wellness, the personal touch, the personal connection is going to grow more and more. Yeah, and that's where I think, you know, we're in such a great industry for that, and it's never ever going to change. So
no, I still think hands are. If someone's really stressed, hands just sort of that massage and just that touch is still very the most important thing.
Yeah. And when you're talking about that with these magic gloves, I need to have this treatment just to try it. So I'm going to be next on your list.
It is quite euphoric actually with the microcurrent through the hands, because it does give that just, I don't know. Everyone says, "Is this strange that I'm really liking this?" Because it's a gentle, obviously microcurrent is very gentle, but there is that energy there that you're sort of feeling while you're working on it.
Definitely need to try it.
It's very uplifting as well as relaxing at the same time, which is sort of like, it is that energy treatment.
So Zoe, if anyone wants to get in touch with you to learn more about say the
Neurotris.
I can never say it. Neurotris.
I was saying earlier, it's a mix between neurology and electricity, and that's how that word was formed. But I know, and obviously the Americans say it with a different accent to us as well. So
that sounds completely different. So if anyone wants to learn more about Neurotris,
yes.
How do they go about that?
So obviously we have our UK website. There is a US website as well. Well, they'll just send you back to us as well. So whichever one you go to will come to us.
And at the moment that will be, anyone gets in touch, it'll be you that they get in touch with.
It will be me. And they can email me at zoe@neurotris.uk. Happy to talk more.
Oh, brilliant. Because as I say, we'll put all that into the show notes.
Thank you.
It's fascinating. As I say, I can't wait to have a demo to try. So thank you so much, Zoe, for coming along and tell us all about it.
Thank you for having me.